Okay, can anybody hear me out there? We're supposed to be live. I can see myself. I don't know if you can see me or. So we'll just test this a little bit. Tell me if you can hear me. Hey, Mo Magic, glad to see you here. Road King, glad you're here. I wanted to talk about some of the court documents. I run a copy of the last amended ones out, and what I'm doing is going off the ones that have my name, or off the, they put my real name on here. Wikipedia, I see you're on here. Tricky Chi, glad to see you. Road King, it looks like you're the only mod in here today. Hopefully everybody don't keep you too busy. George, glad to see you. Jim. Carrie, the Delicious Fox. Okay. Stacy, glad to see you. You're just watching the other vid. Great. I put it up and thought, well, maybe I'll just go ahead and go live. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. One of them I wanted to talk about was Bruce. And, he's been pretty busy out there, and he doesn't always get credit for what he's doing. I'd like to see him get credit. Cat Lady, a little bit. I think we got enough to get started. First thing I'm going to go over is, I really never read anything on this to date because there was no reason. Hi, Timothy. My mama, I see you on there. There was nothing to do about this because it was in the process of everybody either getting served or updating this thing, get the amendments out of the way. From my standpoint, I thought it was an ill-prepared lawsuit in the first place. It don't make a whole lot of sense, and you'll know more as I go through it. Milltown's best. How you doing, Dave? By the way, Dave, I would, one of these days, soon, like to see a live with you to go over some of the things in a court document. And I was going to give my view on it and have you critique it a little bit, but we'll just see how it goes, Dave. And the other thing I wanted to discuss with you a little bit is AI systems. John Cook, I'm glad to see you're on there today. I know that Michelle had some business with a judge today, and I hope you and her both, I think, did. I hope things come out okay. I don't know much about it, but if you want to talk about it, go ahead and put something up on here. You're sure welcome to do that, John. John is also one of the mods, so I'm glad to see him on here. Okay, I'm going to get back on here. Now, I'm going to give you an idea of what's going on. It says, Lee is a competitor of Hales for internet sales and marketing. I got a question for you guys out there. Does it sound like when, does this sound like it's competitive with Hales in any way? I guess I'm confused because when I'm on Two Leaves with a Pod and listening to it, I don't know if Lisa being on Whatnot, I know she could be, but she's not. I know that she is into crystals. So, that is her forte, if you will, that and rocks. And so I guess I'm confused about the first sentence right off the bat. Lee's scheme. That's what's on here. Whoop. She's a host of and/or operator of a YouTube channel called Two Leaves in a Pod and other social platforms, and then it goes on to put a few of them out there for a base of over 3,000. Wow. 3,000 against 730-some thousand. Competition? Wow. I guess he must really feel something, because if he's got 730-some thousand people out there that follow his channel, that's not counting his other media, by the way. And he's worried about a channel with 3,000 or less people. That's something. I mean, you talk about paranoid. Okay. People who subscribe with Lee's social media often pay monthly fees. Now, I don't know what the percentage is, but when I look at it, I don't see that being true. Now, everybody that's on here, that's been on Two Lees in a Pod, knows that on her channel, members are green on there. You know, the color is green. So next time you're on there, take a look and see if the green outnumbers the other colors. I mean, I never paid a whole lot of attention to it, but maybe some of you have. But apparently, Jeremy has this thinking that there must be a lot of them. They often pay. I guess often is kind of a opinion. Do you think? Lee has expended and continues to expend substantial time, money, and resources into acquiring subscribers, providing ongoing programs, and maintaining relationships and goodwill with them. Okay. Now, the only thing I've seen different is, you know, YouTube pushes the heck out of putting those things at the top, where if you get 10 donations on there, you meet certain goals and all that stuff. Have you guys seen anything else on there? I mean, I that's different in the last 8 months or a year? I don't know. I mean, gentlemen, that's the first thing on there. Where does this stuff come from? I mean, is it the lawyers write this stuff up that I don't understand? I mean, I just speak English. Well, I speak a little German, but I just speak English. And I thought that that's what the language was that we were using here. But apparently, maybe I'm dyslexic. Maybe what I read isn't the same as what I'm thinking. You think that could be it too? Well, wait a minute. If I was dyslexic, I'd probably read this better. Maybe. I don't know. See, I'm confused. I don't quite get this. I mean, I feel like I'm back in third grade and somebody wrote this whole thing up, and it made sense back then, but it don't make sense today. Wow, providing ongoing programs, maintaining relationships, and goodwill with them. Wow. Lee accepts and seeks online tips and donations from her online. Does that sound familiar? Now think about this, folks. This is a court document showing the faults of somebody that's being sued by Jeremy Hales. All right? And Lee accepts and seeks, and they're talking about Lisa, by the way, online tips and donations from her online viewers. Do you know of any other YouTubers that are professional on here that do that? Are they going to be part of the next lawsuit? Let me ask you this. If that's a good reason to sue somebody, here's the picture right here. Let me see. There we go. See that? I hope you all can read that. This is hot off the press, by the way. I guess if you do things like this, you're liable for lawsuit. I feel kind of bad. And the reason being, could this be the end of YouTube monetization? I don't know. Let's go to another one here. You all here for a little comedy today, I hope. Lee was chosen by Preston to be Preston's podcast or PR person. Okay. Well, that sounds like a professional job. It does. It sounds like a professional job. Uh, I don't know. If Lisa was here, I'd ask her how much she was paid for that position. I've never heard her say anything about looking for a job like that. Uh, I really thought she was out promoting bands and things like that, when that was her profession at one time for sure. So, And as a part of the what the hell's media ecosystem, the malicious conspiracy to harm Hales. Holy mackerel. That was a mouthful. Whew, it's good. My wife made me some lemonade today. It's a good thing she did. I don't know if I could get through any of this. Whew. All right. After resigning as Hales moderator since June 2024 to date, Lee is using her online advertising YouTube platforms to make false or misleading statements of fact. Wait a minute, statements of fact. Is that false? Misleading statements of fact. No, actually, the shows that I watched, Lisa showed us documentation from investigations by the Levy County Sheriff's Department. As a matter of fact, she shows it from page 1 to page 4, 6, 7. She showed all of them. Well, wait a minute. Isn't she the one that brought that statement from the doctor on there about Miss Preston's care of that child? Goodness sake. Well, I guess I'm confused here. Well, what about that lawyer she talked to on the phone? I mean, about the adoption. So all the things that she said about that, they're all true, right? I mean, that's my understanding. So I guess what I'm wondering is, if somebody tells partial truths and a lot of lies, how can anything in here be considered factual? But I'm only asking because the average person, their opinion are going to be completely against Lisa. All right. This thing goes on and on and on, and it sounds like he's Sunday live. When he's on there in the live, I'm waiting for it to get to the about 20-minute mark where it starts falling apart, because it usually does about that. And that's my opinion, obviously, because I realize that some people run out of good sense after they've talked for a few minutes, and when they get to the end of it, when they run out, because they say stupid things. Yeah, it just goes on and on about how she's trying to destroy or harm Hales. And it upsets him to be called germ. I want to tell you something. Not long ago, I put up a URL on one of my vids out there, and if you go on there, there's a guy there from 2017 that talks about somebody named Jeremy Hales, and they do call him Germ in there. I wonder if they could be one and the same, because he used somewhat like this here says, Germ or Germany. Sorry. I didn't mean to destroy that. This whole thing just makes me want to laugh over and over and over, because it's so much bullshit. It goes on here. Now, this is a statement supposedly from Lisa. It says, Jeremy Hales tortured Preston for content for a year and a half. He almost had her child taken away from her, and he did all this crap when the damn story would have been Otter Creek. He could have just stuck with that. Now, he's talking about Lisa talking about the attacks on there, And quite frankly, I can't think of any reason why somebody would go by there when they're in town and put a camera up over a privacy fence to take pictures of the entire backyard. Now, he shows the convenient spots where there might be accumulation of debris, but rarely shows spots that show what kind of shape the yard is in its entirety. In other words, just show some bad spots. Now, gentlemen, I have a pretty decent looking lawn out here, but if you were to look in different spots, it looks like I don't take care of the lawn at all because there might be a few weeds that got up higher than 10 inches or some trees that didn't get trimmed just perfect this spring. Those kind of things. And the other day we were out here trimming the cherry trees, and the branches are on the ground. We usually let them dry out a little bit before we pick them up and toss them. But, you know, if somebody was to take a picture of that, they would think I'm some who knows what, not able to take care of a yard. It says since, and it goes on to talk about Lee made over 100 YouTube video publications on her channel. And then, just to give you an idea, okay. I want to pick up and show you what it looks like on paper. I can talk about it all day, but okay, here are the YouTubes that were put up. Do you see any titles on there anywhere? I guess before you'd know what they're about, you'd have to draw it out, wouldn't you? You would have to listen to it. Now, I got a question for you. In your opinion, do you think any judge would take that and logically listen to everything on there? And there's more pages of this, by the way. Do you really think anybody's going to pay attention? That's put there for impression. Hundreds of videos. And he makes a broad statement that these are an attack. Been a lot of times where videos were up there that didn't have his name on it, had nothing to do with him, by the way. I'm still going through the videos that he's put up pertaining to that right here. You can see me pull them off. Yeah, I'm doing that for content because I want you to understand what, if it takes this long for me just to look at them and put them there, how much time do you think a judge is going to have to go over every one of those videos? I don't think he is. What I would think is he might like to see now. Down at the very bottom, item 31. On 8/4/2024, Lee said, referring to Mr. Hales. And so they go into a paragraph. So are we to believe that every single one of those is going to have a similar description of Mr. Hales? Because it would seem that this was done for effect rather than complete content. Now, from a deleted leave stream called it Blindsided Sunday. Everyone, blindsided. Hashtag. Do you think that might have been one of the contests? Because what do you think happens when there's a giveaway? They pick up words and put it up there, don't they? It draws people in. It really does. And every channel out there that is monetized does something similar to that. In other words, it's just a hashtag and blindsided. That's what that is on there. If you can get sued over that, does that mean we're going to get rid of all the contests out there? See, I'm just asking. There again, it's not a big deal. Oh, here's one. This is interesting. Lee posted the following on her YouTube platform. Germ stalks the child all day. I wonder what it really says if we go and find it. Now that gave a date. Do you see that date? Does that tie back to any of these YouTube that you've seen up there? Because the YouTubes that he showed, or the videos, have no dates on them and no title. So if you want to, if you want to verify that statement, you're going to have to go through all of those YouTube, and that takes up time of the clerk of court. Now, when this was done, that could have been added to this, and that wasn't necessary if it was put with this. So was that to use more paperwork up? I mean, I'm asking a question. If you were even somewhat literate, would you not put the thing together rather than spread it out like that on different, whoa. I don't know what happened. Oh, I know what happened. I put too much pressure down here. If you were even the least amount of intelligence, wouldn't you put the YouTube identifier such as URL with the title, with that statement? Because if you separate them out like that, and then you separate it further to this, and you put a statement here, and then you have to take this statement and go back to the YouTube, what are you doing? You're causing confusion. So now we know confusion is part of the game of this lawsuit, my opinion. So what does that cost or cause? Now there's 11 of us in this litigation being sued. And everything that appears in here is of interest to each lawyer because they're all interrelated through the different titles that are within this these statements. So each lawyer is going to have to go through each person that's being sued to get the full story because it is so tangled up. It's worse than a bowl of spaghetti. It's like a bowl of spaghetti that was mixed up and thrown at the wall and see which, is anybody going to stick? Because he's hoping some will. One lawsuit to pay his part of the whole thing. To say that it's confusing is, I mean, that's a minor part of my statement. I mean, of course, it's my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not supposed to be. But I'm going to have to pay some lawyer to figure this doggone thing out for me. And he's going to have to go through all this stuff. I mean, more than likely what's going to happen is I'll be the one go down and start pinning it and giving him what I've got on it according to what charge each one that I'm charged with. And everyone on there is going to have to do the same thing. A lot of time, a lot of money, wasted time and money. They had it at their hands, and they're trying to prove a statement, and yet they spread it out so that we got to go back in there and to make sure that it shows our innocence. We have to spend a lot of time and money, more than they did, to come up with this, because they can cherry pick it, and we've got to come up with everything we ever said in the last year to come up with something that makes sense. The other thing is, Jeremy has a habit of deleting certain words out of sentences or removing the sentence before or after, the paragraph before and after, to get the meaning of the sentence itself or even the word that was in there, the spoken word. And that's very easy to do. It's called double talk. All right. Lee followed the following on her YouTube. Getting caught on tape, faking violations of PO, creating incidents, lying to police officers, committing perjury. Guess what happened? You remember a few months ago or a month ago, a little better, Lisa brought on there the proof of that very statement, showing it. Here again is a lie, one that was shown on video, 2 videos. Okay, one was Jeremy sitting next to the lawyer, and he had talked to Miss Preston, and he wanted a conversation sent to him right then. Okay, this was on a depot that was being taken at the time. No, I didn't get served, DRD. It showed Jeremy knew what happened, and he received a call while they were on the video, show him on that depot. Later on, he calls the sheriff up because he's got to get verification that indeed Miss Preston made a boo-boo. Instead of getting a hold of the lawyer, she got a hold of him, and it violated the PO. The police officer looks at it, and he's trying to figure out, why would she send him a text when she's not supposed to? So she asked him the question, and he runs his arms back. How would I know? Something about her being crazy or something to that effect. And he's laughing. Now, he was sitting next to the lawyer when it happened. He knows the question that was asked, and he knows very well why that text was sent, and she sent it accidentally to Jeremy. Now, Jeremy got a good laugh at it at the time, and he got more of a laugh when he was telling the cop he had no idea what was going on there. And he knew damn well what happened because he was there when it happened. And he heard her say, oh, shoot, I made a mistake and I accidentally dialed in Jeremy's number. I suppose he's going to go after me now for violating the PO. That's on tape. They know it was a mistake, but yet this goes to the Ohio courts for a PO violation, protection order. Who is telling the truth and who is lying? And this is lie number 2 out of 1 lie. What do you call that when you double lie? Is it like a double ego? I don't know. It's not playing golf. I think I showed a few mistakes in there, and like I say, this is the very first time I went through the court documents. And it made me upset because when I look at it, at my age, I can't remember everything. But when I listen to something like this and I see a lie, I guess, I don't know. I look at it and I say, well, I remember that statement. I don't remember the exact date, but gee, I remember part of it. And I look at that in writing and I'm saying, well, there's a different thing here than what really happened. I mean, the words are there, but the explanation isn't. And when he was asked about the explanation, he said, I don't know. She must be crazy. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. This is another BS. Lee fails to account for where the money raised by those consumers has been spent. In fact, on April 6th, 2025, Lee said, what I was doing, it wasn't a fundraiser. It was not donations because it was given to me to help me. It's not a donation. It may have been called a donation or something, or because of what people actually, think if they're doing something, it's a donation. Here's what he says. In actuality, Lee's process and strategy, Lee's scheme, okay? He's got to explain what strategy he's talking about, scheme, because he uses that word in there very freely. Is nothing more than a scheme to enrich yourself at the expense of consumers and Hales. Lisa never got a nickel of that money for herself. As a matter of fact, the money wasn't given to Ms. Preston or Mr. Cook, but there were presents that were purchased from part of the money for Harley, and it was collected for Harley for that purpose for Christmas. Harley, Christmas in the Creek. Now, there was money collected that went into cards that had monetary amounts on it for purchase of a fence. And the labor was voluntary, 100% voluntary. So the fence was bought, concrete was bought, poles were bought for it, and it was put in place. And everybody's seen it done, and they've seen a lot of videos on it, okay? The other thing is the money that is left over, and some of it was put towards the fact that they're going to do everything they can to finish the interior of the barnuminium. Now, in case you don't know, the common use for barnuminium is to make it into a habitat for people. It's common use for it. It meets the standards for Florida, for the wind standards for hurricane. It is in better shape than that place out there on Hales Ranch. Much better. And a much better building already looking than that place probably ever was. The other place was a camp, that's it. And it looks like a hoarder's house, and yet not the barnuminium, but the camp is what I'm talking about. It looks like a hoarder's house. You guys have seen pictures of it within the last 6 weeks. You know what it looks like. Preston's acts and Preston's furtherance of Lee's scheme. Preston at all times prior to 2020 to date is a viewer of Hales. Now, in no uncertain terms, it's hard not to see something about Hales if you live in Otter Creek. You're going to see things. And unless you're blind, you're going to see it on Facebook. You're going to see it on Twitter, YouTube. Just because you don't pick up what he puts out doesn't mean you're not going to see what's going on. The other thing is that there's a lot of people out there that are friends of Miss Preston that are going to let her know what's going on there that are derogatory towards her, John, or Harley. And so she is going to know what's going on, and it does upset her. It upset anybody. But if you notice, it is very seldom she says anything one way or the other about it. Her and John both have tried to keep a lid on it to a certain extent, and it's very hard to do that. You are going to make offhanded remarks from time to time, but that's just the way it is. That's human nature. You can't help that, believe me. Now, I hope this isn't too boring. What do you guys think? Is this worth going over? I haven't got to mine, and I'm going to go to mine next year. Mine's very short. But I give you an idea what happened with 2 Lees in a pod and how she got drug into this. And at different times, not today, but I'll have lives where I go over other people in here that are also part of this thing. I want you to understand why I think it was done by a 3rd grader, how I feel opinion-wise, the way this was put together. Road King says, just listen, please. Bruce, has anybody ever asked you if you were named after Babe Ruth? My middle name is Ruth, and somebody asked me if I was named after him. Boy, you'd have to be my age to know who Babe Ruth is. You're good, Ray. It's good to hear all opinions. Listening while I'm looking something up. That's Marla. A Bitter Fisherman, are you talking about Rat's video? I'm not sure who you're talking about there. Let's see. In my opinion, this man needs evaluation. What he is doing to nowhere near normal or ethical. You're right. That's G Sky. I'm still trying to figure out how I got drug into it. Probably screaming and yelling, John. Somebody grabbed a hold of you. You're just trying to defend yourself. I know I'm laughing about it, but it's not funny. Hey, don't forget, you can't say drug, you got to say rug. Road King, I was talking about the other person, not this page. That's Jay Wilson. I cannot wait till this is over. That's King Paco. Wikipedia. If it looks like it's written by a 3rd grader, we all know damn well who wrote it. Oh, let's see. The reason I say that is if I would have handed something like this in high school, I would have got an F on it because it just wasn't organized enough for understanding. And maybe I don't know. Maybe they have a different standard in Florida for when you hit to pass a bar to be a lawyer. I mean, I know that this guy had a problem even passing a bar anywhere else. I don't know how he got to be a lawyer in Florida. No idea. And a lot of times I see a lot of Jeremy in there, but then again, it's opinion. I think it'd be worth running through. AI, along with some of the things that Jeremy's done to see just how much relationship there is to his mode of thinking. I think it would pan off, but we'll see. So Tori and Lisa are awesome. They have good hearts. Fiduciary, ridiculous. Whoopsie, puppy had a puppy accident on Ray's garage floor. Sorry, Road King, clean up after puppy. I don't know. I don't see any whoopsies out here. Oh, let's see. What else we got here? DJ Radis. Woo! Did you enjoy your satanic video made about you? Thank you, DJ. I understand the problems you have. And, you know, you have a lot of people out there with your name that are satanic. I don't know if you are because you've never admitted anything like that. But I noticed you like to follow my channel. And I doubt if you're going to get educated. I know that one time I asked you a couple of words and you didn't know what they were. But that's okay. I don't expect you to know how to speak English. You've been in the bush too long, fella. And your message got deleted. How about that? Oh, goodness. George says the dentist wrote it. You know, I don't even know how he got a dentist license, quite frankly. Someone said, give Tricky a steak so she'd be a good pup. Oh, goodness. The pads are over in the corner. I've got some doggy pads. They're in the house, but I could go get them. Everyone a little late. Hello, Mr. Ray. That was Becky. Cat lady. Scumbag rat ass smelling up the chat. He don't know better. He tried to challenge me to be somewhere on the 18th or something like that. I don't know where it was at, but what is today? 12th. But says Radis is back in La La Land. Yeah. Oh, let's see where we got here. Beck says, everyone, sorry. Jerm streaming because he can't scare Lisa and make her shut up. Oh. I knew something was a follow was near. You know, one thing about Radis, if you look at him, you can smell him. And that's an opinion. But if they ever had smell-o-vision, they could show him, and you know what the hell they were talking about. And that's my opinion again. Can you imagine? Listen, he used to talk about the stink when he went by Preston's and Cook's place there. And he'd roll that old window down, right? But he never bitched about it till he rolled it back up. And he says, man, it stinks. I wonder why. He was living in his car. Do you think one of them bags back there in the back had a leak in it? Would you let him park in your yard? Because you know what he was going to do. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, Lisa, the bomb, the followers of the bomb, and they are angels. Oh, let's see. How did you get the name Bone Crusher? Well, believe it or not, my name is Bone Break. That's my Christian name. But I used to hang sheetrock years ago. And honestly, I can take sheetrock. I can't anymore, but I used to be able to crush it with my hands. And I did a lot of work where I had to climb fairly high. I mean, I'd get up on towers, and I walked on steel that was, you know, the framework was like 1.5 to 3.5 inches. It would vary. And you learn your hands have to be extremely strong. And the result of it is when you get my age, if you look at my hands, I have trouble with them. I can't tighten them up anymore. And they're both that way. And my fingers are getting more crooked on a regular basis, depending on how you look at them. But back then, there were several people who started calling me Bone Crusher on the job. I worked construction a lot of my years. And there's a lot of other names you can give to it. You know, Bone Break leads to a lot of other names. It could be Bone Breaker. And one of my things that Mo Magic put up there had the Bone Breaker on there. And believe me, the people I grew up with, if they seen that, they would immediately say who it was. They'd say it was Ray Bonedrake. So there you go. And the way they doxed me, by the way, was they took my dad's obit and they posted it on Facebook. Now, I don't have Facebook. Somebody else had told me about it. I went and looked, and sure enough, there was my father. And, the problem with that is it shows off your family and where you were raised and all that. And the result is that if you do something wrong, your whole family pays the price for it. And, it's too bad. I mean, most everybody in my family is either passed away or they're my age or somewhere near my age. So it's just unconscionable that somebody wants to do that to another family. But I can tell you without reservation, nobody in my family had anything to do with what I'm doing on here. And my main thing is that I'm really, my mind hasn't changed. Once I zeroed in on trying to help somebody that I thought was being bullied, it's never wavered since that time. And initially, that's not what I came here for. I came to protect the First Amendment. And now, after all this baloney, the First Amendment, they're trying to take away from me with this lawsuit. But I'm trying to warn you, I picked up key things in here. And when I bring mine up today, you're going to see that the First Amendment, if they find me guilty, if they find any of us guilty, the First Amendment is going to shrink considerably. And most of you that are on here today will never be able to be in a chat and feel comfortable again. If this lawsuit is finally pushed through and Jeremy wins, we all lose. And Jeremy will lose too. He just don't know it. He's not smart enough, in my opinion, to understand what this thing really is. So it could have been simple. When I was doing, engineering a long time ago, they always, whenever we invented something, they said, KISS is the key. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. And whenever we designed something, especially when I was taking the courses, you were graded on, could the common person work on this and fix it? Do they understand what you've invented? So that KISS should have also been a partial thing of legal things that are written, because too many words out there are not common to our everyday language. And it's a way to confuse the base freedoms that we want. And what it does is it opens it up so that you and I can't defend ourselves, because parts of this we'll never understand. Oh, let's see. All these cases should have been dropped. Yes, Babs, that's absolutely right. Bearded says, hey, Ray, we're already feeling uncomfortable. I used to go off the whole chat about how I felt about things, but now I kind of watch what I say, watch what I do, sit back and just watch karma. We'll get them. Yeah, and Bearded, everybody would like us all to sit back and not say anything. They would all like to take our freedom of speech away from us. And, think about it, Bearded, if your freedom of speech was taken away from you, think how many nights you'd spend in jail. The first time you went out and said, you SOB, you'd be in jail. Or if you called somebody a dumbass or something with that effect, you would no longer be able to have a slip of the tongue. A slip of the tongue would put you in jail for a long time. And in fact, one of the problems we had is, a judge got butthurt because of one word that Bruce had said, and it wasn't even about the case he was in. Goes to show you, and Bruce was part of what I wanted to talk about today, and I hope I get to it, because this guy has took a beating more than any of us out here has, with the exception of John and Michelle. John and Michelle have been going through it for a couple of years, and Bruce has been going through it for almost a year. So I want you to think and pray for all of them that are involved in this darn thing, that have taken a beating and have taken it, had to take it. And Bruce cannot talk back when he was on the case, when he was representing John and Michelle. He was really contained, and lawyers have a hard time. When they pick on a lawyer has to be so careful what they say. They can be held in contempt, and they actually can end up in jail or sanctioned. There's all kinds of things happen. So, pray for Bruce. He's got a long road to haul on this thing, and because of him trying to defend Michelle and John, he is involved in this case that I am in, where there's 11 of us that are being sued. I mean, think about that. Would you want to be a lawyer knowing you're going to be sued on the next case? I just think how hard it would be. Here goes, okay, here, Bearded, hey, I already got harassed by the cops and thrown in jail for something I didn't do, right? I understand, man. I get it. They're not taking away my amendments the way they give me more amendments. Bearded, the longer a person is on the streets, the more apt they're going to go to jail. And people that think they're so righteous, they're not breaking laws, are so full of shit. There's nobody out there that does not break a law on a regular basis, because there are so many laws out there. There's nobody, absolutely nobody, can remember them all. And if you want to charge somebody for something, go look it up, because there's a law pertaining. There's nothing you can do that isn't against the law in some way or manner. It's how you interpret it. So think about that, fellas. We put the neck around our own noose. We keep telling Congress, pass more laws, pass more laws. Pretty soon we won't be able to pass more because it begins the law to pass them. Marta said, thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Jeremy is a Palomont poster boy. He is. Well, child, it says. Okay, everyone have a good day. Ren says, I'm out. Sorry to see you leave, Ren. Let's see. Take care, Ren. Have a good one. And I'm just reading off from what everybody else is saying. Mary got a message deleted by Pebs. So it looks like Mary was talking out of turn. Mary, when you come on here and talk, just try to be sociable with everybody. You'll be okay. Peculiar Optics. Hello, Ray. How you doing? I'm doing fine. All right. Now I'm going to go back to, I want to get down here to some of the stuff I had. If I can find it. It was down here quite a ways, I think. Oh, here we go. I separated it out. That way I don't have to get messed up here. There's a lot of paperwork here. And this isn't even a tenth of what's out there. Count 14, civil conspiracy. Raymond, Hills. The allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 6, paragraphs 19 through 54, paragraphs 155 through 161, and paragraphs 165 through 172 above, as if more fully set forth herein. Well, that sounded intelligent. I bet you didn't think I could say that many words in one sentence. I couldn't. I copied it. This is an action for damages in excess of $75,000. Now, the following things were worth $75,000, people. I wish I'd have known that. Think of all the money I could have earned. I wouldn't have never had to go to work. Okay, here we go. Raymond and all defendants. Okay, there's 11 of us, right? Agreed to intentionally participate in a civil conspiracy among themselves. I can tell you flat out, that is a damn lie. Period. That's not an opinion. That is a lie. For the purpose, which was to commit violations of Florida deceptive and unfair trade practices, and it goes on until the statute. False advertising under the Layman Act, tort of the tortious interference with advantageous business relationships. Throughout the course of the conspiracy, Raymond and all defendants are acting in concert, coordinated in furtherance of the common scheme. acting in concert. Give me that little stick so I can be the conductor, right? Okay. Raymond knew of the scheme and assisted in it for all the acts of all defendants, co-conspirators, including engaging in unconscionable, unfair, and deceptive acts or practices that offended established public policy and are immoral. I wonder what the immoralities are. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoa. Unethical, oppressive. Oh my goodness. What part of the oppressive part's against the law? Which moral law did I break? My goodness, public policy. Public policy is the law? Public policy? Really? Okay. All right. Oppressive, unconsciously, and substantially injurious to consumers. Wow. They're likely to deceive a consumer, acting reasonably and in the same circumstance that cause injury or detriment to consumers. Woo-wee. A lot of consumers in there. Making false or misleading descriptions of fact and false or misleading representations of fact that in commercial advertising or promotion. I've never really promoted anything commercially or any otherwise. I mean, I'm free gratis here, buddy. This is unmonetized at this point. Misrepresented the characteristics, qualities, and reputation of Hales and Hales' commercial activities, and despite knowledge of the customer's contractual and business relationship with Hales internationally, and without valid justification interfering with such relationships. You know, to tell you the truth, I don't know what kind of relationship Mr. Hales has with any business outfit, nor do I care. I could give a shit less. Plain language, fellas. You know, I've had a lot of people come after me lately, and they want to talk about morals or the fact that I laughed because somebody put a satire up there that I was encouraging acts of sexual, what was it now, harassment and things like that. You know, satire is satire, and swear words are swear words. If you worked as long as I did in construction and went through the military, you've heard just about every word out there. Now, the satire thing is brand new out there as far as from me, as far as I know. You know, this AI programs and things can make things look so real, and they come up with so many things. And a keyboard warrior can make it look so bad with a few things out there. And that's the way the world is, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. Sticks and stones, I mean, what the heck? You know, you had Radis on here earlier. That yo-yo, he's on there every single day going after, or almost every single day, going after Miss Preston. And, you know, he keeps writing this diary thing. I don't know too many people are going to look at that very long because it gets so damn boring. And you got to be bored to even do stuff like that. I mean, where in the heck does he get this shit? Okay? Yeah. People want me to be nice when I talk, and it's pretty hard to be nice when you're around such crap. And Radis is a good example of that. No matter what you think or of me or anybody else, I have a distaste for him. It's not as much hate as the guy just don't measure up. He don't measure up to anything. That little pudgy little shit, he claims how brave he is. And I remember Thomas was just walking over to him to talk to him, and he run like a scalded dog, got in that car and took off like there was no end. And then later on, he comes back as if he's a big SOB and says, yeah, I've got something on me. He won't get me. What a dummy. What a dummy. Gee. And he come on there the other day and said something about being brave enough to show up somewhere on the 18th. What a dumbass. Opinion, of course, but people that act like him are just, they're crap on earth. It says of the Raymond is jointly and severely liable for the acts of other members. Other people In other words, I'm responsible for them, of the conspiracy which you were committed in furtherance of the conspiracy. And it goes, says 279. Raymond agreed to launch a campaign to damage Hales as evidenced by Raymond's actions. Now look, this is a stupid sentence. It's just, Raymond agreed to launch a campaign to damage Hales as evidenced by Raymond's actions. Now, how does that make an agreement? I never agreed to launch any campaign of any kind for any reason. Everything that I have done, to point, has been an opinion. And he's saying that evidenced by Raymond's actions. So if I agreed to something, or you're saying I agreed to something because of how I'm acting, how in the heck would you know what I agreed to on any level about anything by actions of what I'm doing? If you don't have the proof, then don't make a damn statement like that, you stupid bastard. And that's an opinion too. What a ass. You know, somebody like that just absolutely, that is the dumbest sentence I've seen in a long time. Jeez. And then it says, whereas, or wherefore, Hales respectfully requests that the court enter judgment in favor and against Raymond jointly, severely, with all defendants. Wow. And then he goes on to talk about Lutheran. You know, I'm not going to go through Lutherans. He'll go through it many times before all this is over, I can tell you. And I will pick different ones out of there at different times to do lives on. But I wanted to show the idiocy of something like this and tell you why I thought it was a third grade type put together. It's not organized in a correct manner to make good sense. But if you're either one of those two, and I got an idea between the two of them, they didn't quite measure up to third grade, you know, and I give them too much credit, I'm sure, you know, opinion of obviously. They made a mess out of this thing and made it very expensive for anybody to try to follow. And they want us to act on different levels of intelligence. And, you know, if you're operating on a negative aspect like they are here, it's very hard to follow. And a lawyer can come on and explain a lot of it, but they can't tell you why they didn't use a little more organization when they put it together, other than just really not having it. They're not organized. And I can see part of that when I watch videos and stuff where our big creator is involved. When you look at the things in there and you think, oh my. But if you ever look, he makes a mess and the people following him have to refix it. I mean, it's a way of, it's his SOP for operation. That's all thing I can think of, and that's opinion, obviously. And they're all going to have fun with us tonight. They're going to try to beat up on me and do all kinds of stuff because I went over a few things and give an opinion. To say that I'm upset over that son of a gun, what a jerk. You know, I have a right to have my opinions like they are. And I'm not saying that you have to think that he is one of those or even acts like that. You got to make up your own mind. When you're more involved, if you're closer to the heat, then you can see the fire, and sometimes you can even see how it started. They give you all these reasons for doing stuff, and everybody's it wrong except for them. They make no mistakes, these people that are involved in this. And that, when you look at that channel, it's 730-some thousand people. That's the tip of the iceberg, fellas and gals. When you look at the whole scheme of it, there's well over 1.5 million people at any one time looking at the different channels that are involved with this that would like to see people like me fall down, go to jail, all kinds of stuff. Every week, somebody gets on there and says, Ray, and matter of fact, yesterday, one of them says, well, you know, you should have thought ahead a little time. Now your kids are going to lose their inheritance. And your wife won't be able to be supported. And all, I mean, they go on and list a whole bunch of stuff on there that don't make sense. For one thing, my kids aren't looking to me to try to get an inheritance. And they're more worried about my standard of living and how I'm going to make it to the end rather than what they're going to get when the end comes. I would feel bad. I can only feel sorry for the person that said that, because if their family are waiting for them to die to get their inheritance and they're saved everything up for them, what a world they must live in. And they bring something that up to me when my family could care less about inheriting something. If there's anything they want to inherit, it'd be something that can't be taken away from me in the first place. It'd be something that means something to them, something handed down maybe from another generation. But there are people out there, they're like vultures that hang over an estate. And I got an idea this person that writes that stuff probably is one of those vultures that do that. And I don't know how your family feels about you. Do they want you to pass so they can get your estate? I mean, because this person put a lot of importance on it. Every week, one of those people that follow those others out there that keep telling us we're bad, we're the bad people, makes a statement similar to that, of how bad I am for not leaving money to my kids because Jeremy's going to take it all. Or whatever, maybe it's my house or vehicles or whatever it is. I mean, I have these because of God's will. If it goes, it goes. Anybody that thinks they own anything on this earth is so full of shit. And when you go, you're not taking any of this with you. I'm just telling you, make up your mind that it's all gone when you leave, okay? The only thing you have left at that point is a soul, and that's returning to the Lord. That your first breath of life is going to. Okay. My opinion is based on Jeremy's behavior. Let me go back on that. I wanted to see. And actions, they speak volumes of who Jeremy is. And I agree with that. Let's see. Oh, my God. My blood sugar is winning the fight. Keep preaching, Ray. Stand strong. Everyone else. And damn it, Dave. It's funny how he had no problem wagging his tongue about everyone. But when the tables turned, he cried like a newborn. Yeah. Yep. Oh, let's see. Ray, this is all because you disagree with him, and you're right. He is only trying to silence all of us. He needs a different job. Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there like that. Jeremy isn't the only one that does things that way. Anybody that, I know all of you that are anywhere near my age, you've seen people like this before. It's not something new. But this guy seems to be really getting bad. And I've seen it get worse in the last year. The other day, I looked back at videos that were a couple years old. And everybody was involved. And I'm including even people here, on the channels, have changed to a certain extent. And when we get involved in these things, it does rub off on us. We can't help it. And as we talk, we actually pick up some of the verbiage that's being used against us so that we use it back. And it shouldn't be a matter of fire with fire. It should be more preventing the fire in the first place. And we can talk about it all we want. It's too late to prevent that fire. But we can try not to ever see another fire like this get started. A small town neighbor or town like that, and neighbors into a dispute get into the point like it is right now. That's all. It's not just a normal dispute. Anybody that wants to convince me it's anything other than money, you can't. It's being continued in that manner because it's a financial gain for multiple channels. If you look at the channels that are involved that push what I call hate speech on, whether it be a channel like mine or Two Lee's or Super Dave, or they all depend on YouTube for an income. And it's like vultures flying over to pick up what's left of the carcass. I don't know what's going to happen when the bones are picked clean. because those people are going to have to look for new horizons. Now, one guy out there made quite a bit off from following the Johnny Depp trial. And as soon as that was over, where he could get into other things, he was getting his feet wet on a couple places and landed on the Hales Project. And that guy was the umbrella guy. And if you look in his, don't even listen to him, just look at the people that follow him and see how the remarks are in there, and then compare them to anybody that follows myself or Two Lees, Super Dave, Guapo, Get Swamped, okay? You know, Robbie over there, Thomas Collins. You don't hear too much about Thomas. He's trying to keep a low profile, and I don't blame him with all this stuff that's going on around here. And then the other thing is, the one thing none of us took in consideration. One guy stood up a year ago and joined in and tried his best to help. And his reward, he ran up against a judge that could give a shit. And to think a federal judge can act the way they did with the submittals that were given him by Bruce. Bruce submitted some stuff a couple of months ago that have yet to be answered. Some of the things could be considered criminal charges against others because it is against the law to intimidate officers of the court. And yet, if you look at all the things that he submitted, you'll see some things in there that need to be taken criminal action on, which should have been turned over to the right authorities, because these are things that are swore upon. It is a matter of holding somebody responsible for the things that they do. This man's family, Bruce, has been pursued. They were doxxed. It was put out what his wife does, when she goes. Somebody started talking about his daughter, somebody named Radass. Anybody know that guy? About somebody taking the hit so that they could take her out, a juvenile, a 14-year-old juvenile. You imagine talking about somebody's daughter like that? The threats that they got, and they wonder why he couldn't show up in court. Who's going to supply the help for his wife? When he got into this thing, because it was a simple case, who would have known it was going to go on for years? And who's got deep enough pockets to take that on? He's not a rich man. He took that on, and he's got pennies on the dollar for going out there. The pennies on the dollar I'm talking about are for simple little charges that amount to, I think the one was up to around $6,000, $7,000, whatever it was. And Jeremy's talking about $300,000 out there. One guy fighting that much money and that many people virtually by himself. We watched this come down and watched it happen to that guy. We know what John and Michelle have gone through, and we do not know what the repercussions are going to be against Harley over the next 10 years, because it's certainly going to come back to haunt that little girl. And then she's going to be a teenager, and that is a critical time. Any of you women out there know what it's like if something comes down on you from between the times of when you're 12 and 18 years old. How do you feel about the people around you, especially if they start looking at you and giving you a funny look over something that you had nothing to do with? She's going to be facing all this in her high school years. And I realize that all of us out here, we're just trying to help out. I am happy that I do not or have not had to walk in the shoes of John and Michelle or Harley or Bruce Matskin, his wife, or his minor child that's at home. Could any of you give what you've got up, take money out of your pocket, and give it away and the safety of your family to help out somebody you've never met. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. This lawsuit we're in, there's 11 of us, and he thinks it's a conspiracy. You got lawyers and former lawyers involved in this thing. I have never talked to one of the, or at least 2 or 3 of the people who are being sued out there. Never talked to them in any way or made a comment. And they're part of a conspiracy? Come on. Now, everybody here knows that that's all bullshit and a lie and the whole works, that there is no conspiracy. That we have a common cause is the fact that we're worried about somebody that is being bullied. In our opinions, yeah, there's bullies out there. And it's not just one bully, it's multiple bullies at this point. And some of them admit to going after this and bringing fire to it from over a year ago when this thing was first getting started. And there's 2 or 3 channels, at least 3 channels, that have admitted conspiracy of what they were doing, and they started feeding things back to Mr. Hales. They've committed it online. We've got some out there, like the one channel that called CPS, while he was on his channel live. I want to ask you something. Is there anyone here that would have even thought about doing something like that? And if you did, is it to gain monetary reasons? I mean, would you really be worried about somebody that you were talking about? Would you? I mean, where is the heart out there of these people that are pulling this stuff? Anybody that would make a call like that live without having met the person that they're turning in to take a chance on a child being grabbed away from the parents. There's something wrong out there with people like that. YouTube is allowing that. A judge in Florida, northern Florida, is allowing Bruce to sit there and worry about submittals that he has put in there. One, to have him removed, and the other one, justifying why he wasn't there for court. If I was in his shoes, you can bet that I would not have went down there. I would have rather stayed with my family and keep them safe, knowing that they were being watched, stalked. They were told about it in advance. How could you go down to another place, another state, and defend a family, knowing your family was north of several states, north, more than several, being stalked by somebody we don't even know, that they don't know? Could you do that? Could you go down there and defend a family like that with your family up there? Are you willing to give your family up for another one you've never met? I mean, speak from your heart. Now, YouTube has allowed it to happen. Facebook has allowed it to happen. All these social medias have allowed this hate to go on, and it can all be tied back into the people around that little hub, okay? But when the federal judicial system is given proof and they fail to act on it over 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is now, what is going on? What stopped the action? Why is that lawyer being crucified by the federal government by holding back and not acting on a submittal? Is that his punishment for one bad word, one time? Is it? Because he was reacting to another case, not that one. The disrespect that was given him on that depot. And they're acting like it was his fault. And didn't allow the video. I don't know how many people have read the below video after it's over and looked at the words and then tried to compare them back to the video and see if you have the same impression. The same thing happens in in a depot. Without that camera showing expressions and the way people were reacting, it's pretty hard to come out with the real purpose of it. And a judge said, I will not look at it, and didn't allow it in the next one. And he had to come down from his state, his money, on his nickel, to perform that act for a couple hours depot. The disrespect was showing him, not the reverse. And you can explain it away any way you want, but nothing, absolutely nothing, can ever pay this man back for the sacrifices he gave. And then there's one last thing nobody thought about. His reputation has been smeared, and there's no amount of money that's going to get that back. None. It almost makes you feel like crying because it is frustrating. Now, I'm not walking in his shoes, but I know how he feels. You know, when I looked at this thing, I was hoping, because there's so many good people out there that want so many good things for people. And there's so many demonic things going on out there. And I thought, what an opportunity for the good people in the area or on our channels to get together and, let's say, we want these people to be successful. And the end result is the people that stepped up are going to get stomped on. That's what's happening. I don't blame anybody for being upset or scared or anything else. You know, the first time I put a live up here, there was some attacks went on, and I was afraid to put another one up because I didn't want to see the mods get tore up, because the first thing they do in a chat is they'll go on another channel and they blame everything on the mod. What's happened in the last month, we've had some people that were good people on here that got into arguments, and now they're not good people anymore because of the argument they got into. And yet, they really haven't changed. They were always had an edge to them, and it didn't take much to push them over the cliff. What about what's going to happen if somebody like Bruce gets pushed off the cliff and he says, you guys are a bunch of asses? Are we going to fry him because he lost his temper? You know, or it could happen to me. Maybe people will fry me because if I lose my temper over something because of fighting this for a year. I really hope the best in people show up. But sometimes you see it in your own relatives, how bad it can get. We're in a world of turmoil, different places, and no, the sky isn't falling unless you let it fall. It only falls on those that think it's going to fall. The sky is still blue most of the time. And when it rains, it brings flowers and grass and trees and all kinds of stuff. The benefits of different things, if we can look at them as a benefit, then we're not worried about if it rains on us. Okay? Oh, boy, that was my rant. Okay? I feel bad, if you don't know it, I feel bad for Bruce. I think he went through hell undeservedly. And if we don't start propping up the people that protect us, to stand up for us, we're going to be without help. We're going to run out of people that really want to step up. We either want to get past this or we don't. It's real simple. Now, as far as John and Michelle, we're one of the few hopes they have left. Us people that have been trying to get them through this hell. It's hell on earth for them. But it's hell on earth for people like Bruce that stuck his neck out. They have taken a lot away from this man. He's never going to get his reputation completely back. He's been scorched so much. All right, now I'm going to get back to this chat. And you know, the nice thing about this chat is I blew it up so I can read it from back here. DRD, yes, I feel bad for Bruce. Just looking, says Pebs, it started with a small problem. It's not anymore. Is what I was saying. I'm trying to say to his followers that all this mess was created by him alone. Wendy, Ray, I believe the lawsuit will be dropped. No merit to it. Praying for you, and you should not have to be going through this mess. Whew. I wish nobody had to go through it. But I got an idea. If somebody don't start stepping up, we're going to lose this world. We're going to lose this country. This is just a pebble on the sand as far as the rest of the world. But we have a chance at ground level to make some good out of this bad that happened. I stopped watching because his unhinged behavior. I don't tolerate bullies. Thank you. And that was from what I was thinking. What was I thinking? Pebs, exactly. No one would have known about the fake signs if Germ hadn't posted them everywhere. You know, the signs were in here, and I purposely didn't read them out of this. I, such BS stuff. I have bleeding sinuses today, horrible headache. Boy, peculiar optics, the best thing you can do. You need to relax a little bit. Don't let stuff like this get a hold of you. I hope you have medications or something to help you. Bleeding sinuses, I know a lot of people say hold your head back, but a lot of times you have to hold your head forward and to stop that kind of stuff. The only time I used to get bleeding sinuses is my blood pressure used to go up once in a while, and then it was a trip to the hospital when that happened. Babs says, I agree, Ray. Pam, I have Monica. I thought Marilyn was guilty of something, and it was over when he settled. That was Marilyn Raby over that warehouse. When it happened again, I realized it was all views. I didn't realize anything was going on there until he backed his car up and claimed that she was trying to run over him when he jumped as close to that car as he could, or walked up to it and threatened him. A big bully threatens like that. I mean, you're talking about an elderly couple in that car that didn't hardly come up to his shoulder, and he's giving them all kinds of threats and threatens them till they leave. And they were related to Marilyn Raby. I quit watching because he was pick on a mother in the family. I thought he was a good person, but I was wrong. What was I thinking? It says, infuriates me that he picks on children and older folks, such a coward. My head hurts every day, neck issues. Babs, I know what that's like, and my wife's going through that right now with her neck. She has spinal stenosis, and her pain is just about round the clock sometimes, good days and bad days. And she's got the braces in her back, and her neck has braces in it because of the spinal stenosis. And she suffers partial paralysis from the injuries caused by putting braces in her back, in her neck. Oh, let's see. Martha backs him up, so really there are two of them. She keeps being left out. Let's see, DRD. I started not liking Germ around the time of Maryland. And then Otter Creek came, and what he did to Mary, that was for me. Every once in a while, somebody from Otter Creek has come on or talked to me a little bit and said that they would say more, but most people there are scared of Jeremy. They don't want to get involved. Mary still lives next door to me. What he calls her is terrible. I was wondering about that, Joy, and I was going to ask you. I just didn't want to put you on the spot in here. I was wondering how is Mary doing, and I prayed for her different times. I hope that her health has returned. Okay, and the reason I knew you lived next door is I looked you up before I answered some of your questions on here, and I didn't want to get. MediaCom is getting ready to do work in my area. It says here, I just got a notice. So this thing may go down. Just be aware of it. They've been out here working on stuff for the last 2 days. So this could go down anytime. Don't worry about it. It's not being shut down by YouTube. It's being shut down by MediaCom itself. That's my carrier. Let's see. My opinion that mentally he is a perpetual victim. You don't like the disabled person, and I'm disabled. He doesn't, and that's the problem, King Paco, is that Jeremy doesn't have a heart when it comes to that, and that's my opinion. Pebs, Marilyn reminded me of my mom, and he was so rotten to her. However, for some reason he got banned. Still don't know why, but was paying for membership a long time before I figured it out. Wow. Babs says, what the heck, I'm disabled and Ray likes me. Well, Babs, in my truck over there, I don't know if you can see it. There's a tag in my window. It's up there. Just a minute, I'm going to get it for you. That's my tag. And the reason I have that tag is because my knees are wore out and I have COPD. I can't walk very far. That's my second alert from MediaCom. So, like I say, expect to be turned off here pretty quick. King Paco, Bone Crusher, thank you for your service. Sharon says, hi, Mr. Ray. What was I thinking? It says he has no empathy. He doesn't. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't. Joy, DRK says, I only hope that Mary knows that she had many supporters. I may have missed. Joy, I didn't see anything on there how Mary was doing, so you may have to put it back up there again. Either that or I'll ask you later. Ray needs a cowboy hat. The ladies would go crazy. There you go. This is one of my yard hats. It's just a straw thing that is hard to wear. I've got another one out there. It's comfortable. It's my Jerry Reed hat, and it's comfortable. So there you go. Joy says she gets around with a walker. I've had many talks with her. She knows people are in her corner. However, she is still very fearful. She went through a lot being the clerk in town there. And, she's up there in age. And of course, I know what it's like to get up there. Like I say, I've got one of those, and you're allowed two of them. I've got one in two vehicles. But they're tags that I can put from one to the other. Well, tell Mary I hope she gets to feeling a lot better. And I don't know if she's still under therapy or not like she was, but my prayers go out for her. Creative Crafter. Okay, Ray, now Jeremy is really going to be jealous of you. First the hair, and now the hat. Hal says, I've got one like that. Wait a minute, I've got another hat over there. It's my Jerry Reed hat, and I like it better, so I'll be right back. There you go. This is my Jerry Reed hat. Joy says she's getting around with a walker, but still fearful. Oh, I love Hat Day. What a fun stream. I got tagged and I've never driven. Wow. Well, that tag, though, that's for if you ever ride in somebody's car. You need one so you don't have to walk. Uh-oh. Come on, Ray, rock the hats. I've got more hats. I got baseball hats and stocking hats. And I used to have construction hats, but I got rid of all of them. I knew I wasn't going to go back into construction. See if I can straighten this out a little bit. Get it crooked and it don't look right. Yeah, my neighbor had one like this. Oh, let's see. I have a hat like that, and I got it in Louisiana. Wow. You know, I used to live in Houma, Louisiana out there. I worked in there by Luling. I don't know if anybody knows where Luling Bridge is, but it was a bridge that was made out of steel that never has to be painted. It's got a special alloy steel in it. Oh, let's see. Beer says, is there any way I can get on your live, man? I'm wearing my nice hat right now. I don't know how to do it on YouTube, Bearded, but I wish to heck we could get you on a live, whether it be Dave's or somebody like that that's more astute at doing this stuff. I'm just a babe in the woods on this thing, and I know very little about it. I talked to somebody earlier. I haven't taken a class on any of this stuff for over 15 years, and more like 17 years, I think. Road Kings, Ray, got my hat, y'all. I like how the hat has vents so you don't sweat. You see that little band right there? That makes you sweat. The top of your head don't feel too bad, but boy, right there at the forehead, it gets you. Joy said, please let Mary and Rosemary, Don's wife, know how I feel about them and pray for them often. I think we all felt bad for Mary. Nobody realized what she was going through. And it's like getting caught in a hard spot. You know, you got a customer that's upset, and then, you know, you're working for the consul and the mayor. So you don't have a whole lot of choice about things you can do. You know, you're limited. And each person on the consul is as well, and the mayor. I mean, each one has a duty they fulfill. And when, you know, the law is the law. Mary was following what she was told to do, and unfortunately, she paid the price for it for a customer. I can't believe he filed charges on her. I can't believe it. I mean, who in their right mind would do that? I mean, if you all seen that video, I want to know how you feel about it. If you haven't seen it, somehow I'm going to make sure you can see it. Okay, one way or the other, people need to know what happened out there in Otter Creek, and you know, after a few things like that happened to let's say Mary, the whole console was tipped upside down. And Laura Mott was one of the few survivors that survived that whole thing. And Jeremy went after her right off the bat. And I actually, I have a copy of his video where he was talking about her on there when she was put in charge of security last year. And he started down talking her. He wasn't very happy because he did not sponsor her and didn't want her to get on there, is my opinion. Okay, but the whole town has been flipped at the will of the guy with the gold. Make no qualms about it. Between the people that he carries through his social media and his money, he's been able to do everything he wanted to do in that little town out there. So the people that are living there have to walk on eggs. If they get on the wrong side of him, they're going to pay the price, like Tina. I don't know who the neighbor is on the other side, Mike, whoever it was, his mother. John and Michelle. Laura Mont. Um, the list goes on. The people out there know who is on the shit side because there's no doubt about it. The way you're either treated or the way you're going to be looked at or the followers that are going to report you. You don't even dare use your social media out there without Jeremy finding out about it. So, and I feel bad for you. A small town wants quietness. Now, I live in a small town. It's 1,000 people. So I know what it's like, but 100 people, think about that. Everybody knows everybody and has for generations. Oh, let's see. I stopped watching him. That was Ruth. Okay. Stress will definitely bring on a stroke, especially if you have pre-existing factors. Yes, that's right. She was being sued. Yes, that's right. He went after her because he claimed she assaulted him. She put her hand on him when she was trying to get him out of the office. And if you've seen the whole thing go down, and remember something, when this video was taken, it was a setup. He had a guy, he was looking into the camera the whole time all this is going on. I think it was Willis, probably there taking it the whole time. He was a conspirator in it, as far as I know. I don't know for a fact that it was Willis taking that camera shot, because whoever it was didn't say anything. But to me, it was a complete setup, because you have somebody taking pictures of this whole thing. I would say it was pre-planned. He knew that she would ask him out of that office. He forced the way he was doing. And most of you have seen how he baits people. And then when you react, you're in the wrong. And that's what happened. She reacted. She wasn't mad at him in any way. She just wanted him out of the office. She was having an awful time getting him out of there. She had work she was doing in there. And it's not necessarily for him to repeat somewhere in town. The work, it can be very private when you're in that office as far as the work that's being done. And the only way to get away from not having it done is to lock the door and then just put up a sign, knock on the door, you'll be allowed, when you're allowed in the office. It's a bad deal, folks. And she was set up as far as I'm concerned. Oh, let's see. Well, you're the famous guy in that little town, Ray. I bet the only one that is in a lawsuit for freedom of speech. Yeah, at this time I am. You're right, Stacy. She was not forceful, more of guiding him out. Her office is not a public place. Yeah, the problem was he called it a public place because there was no signage saying otherwise, and got away with it. Ray, he made his own conspiracy. That's correct. As far as I'm concerned, it's correct. Oh, let's see. Okay, Ray, what do you think of my hat, brother? I see that. Can anybody see Bearded's hat on his emoji up there? It is a black cowboy hat. All right, just looking. We should all remember that even if we can't do anything, God has a plan. Jerem will be answering to him, and trust him to deal with him. I believe that just looking, but there are things here on earth that we're allowed to do to protect ourselves. And, we can all say, well, it's God's will, but God give us a brain to think with. He gave us tools to work with. And it's up to us, to guide our soul, the soul and the breath that he gives us when we're born. And it's up to us to make that soul mature into something. When you think of the 23rd Psalms, he said, my rod and my staff, they comfort me. And they both have a purpose. One is protection and being able to guide yourself on a path to keep from tripping. And the other one is to pull your flock back to safety. So he gives you things, and the one that is safety is to fight off enemies of the herd or of the herdsman. So all of us have different ways of protecting ourselves and each other. And even we should be turning the cheek. He's talking about our cheek, and there's nothing wrong with a Christian trying to help another Christian or a Christian helping anybody out there. We're responsible to a certain extent for our neighbors. Just as our neighbors can protect us, we can them. We have to be careful about saying we're just going to leave everything up to the Lord. If we were to think that everything was caused by the Lord, then we would have as much reason to be mad as we are glad. And he gave us a lot of different powers. I talked to you before. He gave us the power of forgiveness, but he doesn't want us to use the power of judgment. So we have to be very careful about how we use the things that he gave us. And, it has to do with everything, whether it's the poisons you put on your yard, that for everything you do, there's it has a positive effect. Sometimes there's a negative effect. And, the nitrates in our water is because of the fertilizer that are on the fields most of the time when it's in overabundance. And, there's a lot of different things we could fight back and forth and say, well, geez, the Lord did it. It's not necessarily so. He gave us a way of thinking and the tools to do it with. When we took from the tree of knowledge, we were able to see some of the things that the Lord had that were to be kept in obedience. And because we didn't obey, and I say we loosely, but we're all related to the Garden of Eden in some way or another. And that tree of knowledge has caused us to be into this point where we are now. The Abel and Cain that resides in our bloodline. We all have a lot of things we can blame, or we can just do it ourselves. And we can ask the Lord for help in our endeavors. We know the reward is at the end. The end is also the beginning of eternity. So there's a lot of ways to look at it. I wish all of you could believe like I do. I live a pretty happy life as it is. And okay, I reset it. I don't know if you can see it or not. They're working on the lines out there, and man, did they screw this up. Now I got to zoom this back so I can see what's on the screen. There we go. Sorry about that. MediaCom warned me that they were going to do that, so I was hoping they wouldn't disrupt it. Oh, boy. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I am back. Well, I really didn't plan on being here today. A lot of it had to do with the court stuff, and it seems so. I guess I'm not used to seeing things that are haphazardly put together. And when I see something like that, if you want to show a video, let's say, and all you show is the Euro, but you don't put the title with it, you really don't have anything. You've got something you got to go look and waste your time on. And when you put it into a legal document like that and you put 100 of them in there, you drive a judge nuts. And what you want, you're probably thinking, if you're that lawyer, if you're thinking, that the judge is not going to go through there and look at all of them. He's not going to nitpick the different titles. So you can do about anything you want and get away with it and hope somebody else won't pick it up. And that's been the way I see of the channel over there a lot of times. All of you seen that there's a lot of misspoken words or intents and things like that. If it's a little lie, it's a whole lie. It shouldn't even be up there and brought up at all, is my opinion. And every week I see baloney like that, and then I see it repeated out here on other people's channel. And that is wrong, very wrong. If you look at, I don't care if it's Lisa's channel or my channel or Guapo's channel or Dave's channel, the channels are fairly clean. But if you go on some of those other channels, your ears wrinkle, depending on how much you can accept of, foul things being said. And I'm not saying foul words at all. I'm saying the sentence is foul. And that's what I seen out there one day. And the whole time I've been here, I might have looked at the Umbrella Guys channel maybe 3 times out of it, and not the whole video. But I happened to go on there because somebody said, "Hey, you're getting roasted over there." And I went over and looked at it, and I was on there about 10 minutes, and I froze the chat on there while I was looking at the video itself. And I looked over at the chat, and the verbiage that was in there bothered me so bad that I just shut it all down and went my own way. I wasn't going to watch that kind of stuff. And to me, it was Antichrist stuff. It doesn't matter whether I'm a great Christian, good Christian. The fact is, I can tell you, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior. But I will not look at stuff like that, and I never would have allowed it in my channel. I believe the Antichrist probably is here in our world at this point because too many things are happening. And I know you're not supposed to talk about religion on these channels and stuff. And I guess there's people out there that, I'm not saying you have to believe in the way I do. Everybody has a right to believe in any way they want. I'm just telling you, I myself, I won't listen to sayings that are Antichrist. I won't listen to it. And you guys can do whatever you want, on that aspect. I won't preach to you every day. I promise you that, because I don't know enough of it to do that. All right, let's get back. That's how the cult starts, Ray. Repeat over and over until it's your truth. I know. Yeah, we're warned about all that stuff. So, Mushi or Michelle. I don't know why I ever got in the habit of calling you Mushi, but it's Michelle. How you doing? What else we got here? Wash, rinse, and repeat. Peps. I got to tell you a little something that happened. I have twin daughters, and of course, they're up there. They're almost 60 years old, but when they were 2 years old, or maybe even a little less, back then I was in construction. We lived in the country, in a little farmhouse out there. And, the biggest thing happening are the parents, because there's no kids around, right? So your kids emulate you, and they follow everything you say or do. One of my daughters said some swear words, 4-letter words, and got the first taste of soap. And she didn't like it. Like I say, they're twins. So when I came home that day, my wife said, "Go tell your dad what you told me." She was embarrassed. So when she came over, she whispered it in my ear. She wasn't going to say it out loud and get her mouth washed out with soap again. They're pretty smart even at a young age. But that was just one of those things. I tried to swear less. And I want to tell you, when you work around stuff like that, it's a hard chore not to swear when you get home. You take a lot of the stuff home with you, even though you shouldn't. So anyway, that was my little kind of a joke today. Hope my daughter doesn't get upset with me. Sometimes I got to let her know I'm thinking about her. So Hitler was one that the world stood up to, and he failed. Well, the next one, I hope there's no more Hitlers. Antichrist is going to get defeated by Jesus Christ. So that's my belief. Good, Ray. Thanks for asking. I'm not going to listen to downright smut. That's all some of those channels are. That's right, Sharon. We have to have forgiveness in our heart, but we don't have to listen to the crap out there that exists today. The other thing is that sometimes I get upset because we can't talk real English on here. If you talk about and say something about a rug with a big D in front of it, then if you're monetized, you get demonetized that day for your video, and somebody will turn you in for sure. I'm not monetized, so all they do is they put a hole in it. One of the things I put out one time was full of holes. It was, like a net, minnow net. It didn't make much sense when I looked at it and I thought, what the heck happened to that? But that's one of the things. Says our oldest was working cows, and one day and he cussed. Didn't do anything but say, "You better not let your mother hear that." I got another one like that. I mean, when I first went in the military, now my parents and my grandmother, we lived in my grandmother's house, but nobody swore in that house, period. In no kind of way. And I come home from basic training, and we were sitting down to supper, all of us. And yeah, I said a 4-letter word. And my face turned red, and you could hear a pin drop at the table. Now, not one person said a word about it. But my ears felt like they were going to fall off and burn. I felt so bad. Because that was the first time that I ever remember swearing in that house. It just wasn't done in our home. It's not that any of us didn't learn how or hadn't heard it before. We just didn't do it. Yep, I learned a lesson that day. He had his chest pushed out and was moving towards her and rushing her like she did it with Guapo. He's a brave one, isn't he? Let's see. Got to fix dinner. Chat with most of you later. Boy, I want to tell you, the last few days, if you notice, I didn't feel good. And that's why I wasn't putting anything up. Matter of fact, I had at least 3 videos I started to put up, but they weren't worth putting out there, and I wasn't going to bore you with them. Today, I finally have all my taste back, and I feel good, and I'm hydrated again. I was dehydrated here for the last about 5 or 6 days. Yeah. I had this nice big squashed hamburger with tomatoes and onions and ketchup. And then we had potato chips and sweet hot pickles and milk. Now I want to tell you what, that's my first meal my second meal that I could honestly taste and enjoy. Last night, I had mashed potatoes and gravy and chicken. Let's see, what else do I have? Cottage cheese. But anyway, it felt like one of the greatest meals in the world. You know, when you don't feel good for a few days and you can sit down and eat a meal like that, man, that's heaven. By the way, I told my daughter that if she watched one of my videos, if I go like this, I'm saying hi. And so that's what I'm doing out there sometimes. I have to be careful what I say in here too. I don't want her to hear me saying some of them old words I shouldn't be saying. Just come on, Ray, look at all the videos I'm putting out, all the stupid videos. I mean, I'm putting out, man, all your videos are cool, man. They're cool. Keep on bringing them. That's bearded. As a child, if I swore, I got in trouble. My mother's 84 and swears like a trucker. That's Cat Lady said that. Wow. Road King, did somebody say Matter Sandwich? I'll tell you what, lunch today was really felt good to me. And I still feel good. What happened was every time I tried to eat, my stomach was upset and sore, and it was just bad news. I'm sure I wasn't pleasant to live around. Marla said, bearded fisherman, maybe do days of the week, old and new videos. Monday fishing, Wednesday bike rides, and so on. Okay. Oh, yeah. You know, there was one thing I wanted to talk about, too, and I've talked about it a couple times. But, you know, John Cook spent 40 days and 40 nights in the county jail because a convicted felon made charges against John. This convicted felon had shot at police, and then indeed the police shot back and shot him. And he ended up in jail doing time. That guy put charges against John, saying he pointed a weapon at him. Now, he didn't show up for a court. At the time, he was being vetted by you know who. He was a good guy. Well, when the shit hit the fan, they found out he wasn't a good guy anymore because the money that he was raising on, that he raised, this guy, not Jeremy didn't raise it for him, but I'm sure some fans probably went over there, I think, and they donated to that guy's PayPal. And he took the money and spent it on other things. And so he couldn't show up back there in court. The charges against John were thrown out because there's no evidence, no proof. He was not given an apology. He was not able to just, and he told the sheriff when they picked him up, the deputy, that it wasn't true. He didn't do that. Okay? His word against the felon. His word. He still went to jail. He gets nothing for spending that time in there. Nothing. Michelle had to take care of over an acre of ground and a child with a metabolic disease 24/7, and all the other chores that normally John would do around there by herself for that whole time. No apologies. It happened, and they're still dinging him about his time in jail. And yet there was no charges that could be charged. The guy didn't show up. This convicted felon that filed charges on him was able to put him in the hoosegow, and he had no money to get out. Money buys a lot of things. And I want to tell you something. Right now, there's no money for the innocent or the indigent. And the ones that shouldn't have it, and they're the ones pushing the crap out of this. But good doesn't always win the battle, people. If enough people get together and say, we're done with it, and we will help, good can then win out. Then it can. I wish that I would have thought more about it and did something to help John get out. That's on me. He didn't deserve to sit there all that time while that convicted felon up there that shot at police. And by the way, he was convicted of selling drugs to minors, and he was convicted of selling drugs on a school ground. That's the kind of guy that was coming to Tubetown over there, right across from John and Michelle's, and walking up and down their property. And that's the guy that yelled at John when he backed the car up. Okay? So I want you to think about that a little bit. A guy from another state, matter of fact, it was Illinois is where that guy come from. His name's Wes. Did that. And guess who he talked to that night? A bunch of deputies from Levy County. And you know who Diane is and who George is. They were jumping back and forth between cars talking to the deputies, back and forth like this that night. I've seen the video. Yep. I'd sure like to have been able to have a FOIA to have picked up if that dash cam was on in the sheriff's pickup truck that was there. Wouldn't that be quite an eye-opener? And I'm wondering why that cam wasn't on so that we could get a look at it. Makes you think. Beard says, don't you love the system? Same thing happened to me not long ago as him, but the same shit happened to me. Yep, it does happen. If you don't have money, you're on the wrong end of the stick. They thought that the GUNJC said wasn't there was another one that he had on the property. Stacy, if all the people who stopped watching him because of his actions, surely there would be many more to leave because he's a freaking liar. They don't care. They don't care. I want you to think about this, okay? All of you know Slug. Do you all know him? Is there anybody in here that don't know who Slug is? He's the one that called Jeremy some names on here, and he was stopped by Tori and Lisa because there was no proof. guess what? All's forgiven on him. Yep. You know, he lives up to his name, Slug. Yes. He's one of the group now. Is there another one like that? Oh, yeah, Shara. Who's Shara? Does anybody know who Shara is? Marla, what do you think about Shara? What do you think about that wannabe singer? What do you think about the words out there that she said that she's trying to take back that she can't erase? She's erased everything she could. She got so mad at me one day because I said, well, all she was talking about was something that we'd already seen. And I guess she didn't know it, but some of those videos, or at least parts of them, had been shown by Jeremy. And I made a comment about one of them, and she come unglued. Yeah, she's very intelligent. I'm glad she's so intelligent. Oh, Martha said, oh, Ray, you don't want me to start. Oh, boy. What was I thinking? Blah. Stacy says, Cher's a wannabe. A wannabe won't be. She's a scared little Kool-Aid sucker. You know, her and Slug make good companions, don't they? The two of them, I don't know which one. You know, it could be Slug and Sluggy, couldn't it? Put a Y on it and give it to her. We lost a lot of research when she turned on MP the first time. Didn't want JH to get a hold of it. Yeah. Well, one thing about it, she proved that she's no journalist, and she proves it now on about a daily basis. So I don't think she's going to get to write a book that'll go anywhere about this. But you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to write a book on this thing to give them a perspective from somebody from somewhere else that's too old to know better, but has seen it before. I'll bet you I could blast her out of the water with a little book in about maybe 3 weeks of writing and 6 months of editing. I'd even use AI to edit it. maybe I could get you all to sign off on it, and then it would look good. And if I did do that, I'd turn it all over to a needy family. I would make sure that part of it was a college fund for little Harley for sure. And I guess the rest of it would be dedicated to a sanctuary, something like Turtle Sanctuary. All right. Slug was the main one that defamed GH, and now he's working for him, transcribing, and who knows what else. He has yet to take responsibility for his own words. He blames Super Dave and Lisa. I know that. You know that, like I say, he lives up to his name. As far as I'm concerned, you're absolutely right. No, let's see. She's not a journalist. I am the Queen of England. She's not a journalist. I am the Queen of England. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. And you're right. She sure isn't going to be a witness for JH. Any opposing attorney would tear her worse than JH did in that phone call interview. Don't forget that MLS, she was on that channel along with Bruce, professing to be part of a legal team. And then she went over there and shared confidential information that she claims she got because she was a journalist, even though she was part of the legal team. So what do you think about that, folks? Do you think that's a good thing? I mean, here's a person that does everything they can to get every little thing they can out of somebody and then turns against the person that fed them the information. You know, you talk about biting the hand that feeds you. The good Lord will have something to say about it someday. John says, in my opinion, Cher is the scum of the earth. I'm 100% behind you, John. Oh, let's see. We all witnessed his defaming of Germ. He's kissing Germ's ass, so Germ does not sue him. That's right. That's how I feel about it, too. One thing about it, Once you're on his team, you're not going to get off. Blood in, blood out. You know how Jones handled it, right? I know those guys aren't going to go a day without Kool-Aid. If Jage uses any of Slug's transcripts, it makes Slug a material witness, and then opposing attorney can bring up Slug being only one slurring it. Well, you know, the heck of it is, this thing, there is so much BS in there. Well, it says MediaCom's done. Thank goodness. It's so much full of stuff that even though Slug pulled some crap like that, I don't know if it'd even be a pebble on the beach is the problem. Even though they're using a lot of other stuff in there, this judge, I don't think he cares about that kind of stuff. He's already in so deep that he can't get out. And he's looking for salvation for himself. And unfortunately, you remember, I'm pretty upset because Bruce has took the brunt of this whole thing. And not only did he take the brunt of it, but he is certainly on the radar of this federal judgeship. And he didn't need that. And now, I mean, you and I, our reputation, we can go home. Bruce's business completely depends on reputation. And he is being disseminated on a daily basis, every day. And the things that he submitted to that federal judge have not been answered. And they're proof, real proof of what happened. I want you to think about that. A federal judge is setting on records that he should have made judgment calls on it. And either he can't or he won't. I mean, think about that. And it's just not him. He has somebody over him, this judge does. He's a magistrate. People are trying to hide something. If we could figure that out, maybe we could get this thing to move forward. But I got an idea. This next case is going to be similar to the last one. It's going to be there so that the YouTubers are going to make money. We're going to pay it out of our pockets. And we're not going to get by pro bono lawyers on this. I don't know what anybody's thinking, but all of us that are in this lawsuit are going to have to pay for it. It's going to be our money when it comes down to it. Nobody is going to volunteer to come in there and help us without some sort of money coming back to them. And if they have a family, they're not going to want to get involved. This thing is through the legal system. It may not be out on the the social media, or not the social media, but the media like TV stations and newspapers. But believe me, in the legal system, this case has been looked at a lot and will be looked at a lot. And there's a lot of things at stake. But us people, we're going to have to figure out how to pay for it. And Bruce is going to be right alongside of us. He's not getting a free ride. None of us will. So I hope nobody thinks that we're getting pro bono stuff out of this. Zero, okay? Now, one of the lawyers has a lawyer and working on his behalf. So those things are being taken care of on his end of it. And each of us is going to have to figure out how to do it either together or separately. None of us have got together to discuss it that I'm aware of, okay? It's on our shoulders individually. As much as they'd like to think that this was a combined effort by 11 people, it was not, and still is not. Oh. No, let's see. You're right. Jage doesn't do his own research, so he thinks he isn't to blame and will place that blame on others. We all seen it in many ways. Yeah, he's blamed everybody around him for anything that's went wrong. Slug is another one that makes up lies no matter who it hurts, and Chart too. Yep, I believe that. It's unconscionable that he is sitting on it. That's right. That federal judge is causing problems, and apparently he don't care, or he don't. I'm talking about a guy, his background is almost spotless. This is a guy that was at the top of everything he's ever done in his life scholastically. He's one of those that was rated to succeed, period. Succeed, succeed, succeed. Until now. And I don't know if he got a big head or what happened, but he fell into a bucket of shit. And he smells. And by the time he gets to the next one, it's going to smell like hog shit. The other one is just cow shit. You can wash it off. Hog shit, you got to wear it out. It stays with you till it's out of your, it permeates your skin right up to the bone. Okay? Who ever heard of somebody suing back to back and taking a lawyer and putting him in the next one? And tried to do it in the case that he was fighting with John and Michelle. We owe him somehow, because we backed it, and we backed Bruce. And to back off from Bruce and let him fall in the rabbit hole, it'd be wrong by all of us. We all should be yelling from the top of the mountains about what he did and why he tried to do everything he did. He deserves that much. He tried very hard, and he's still behind the scenes helping out. And it's still out of his pocket, not somebody else's, his. Everybody's going to get to realize the cost in this very quickly, because it's coming. Says his stupid shotgun cases will be dropped. There's no blast. I don't know. Listen, I want to tell you something. When Bruce filed the things this judge asked for, and there's been no answer, something is wrong. And this guy has tried to stop submittals for quite a while. And it's still happening in both cases. We're talking about something that's being drugged way out, purposely. But to set on the things that Bruce sent in there that were so important. Listen, Bruce was threatened. He proved it, and they're not doing one thing about it. No protection. Think about this. Pro bono lawyer got crapped on, period. I wish I knew another way to explain it, but I don't. It happened. It's still happening. And he's still working his heart out. I don't know if John's still here. What about it, John? Is he still helping you guys out when he can? He didn't walk away from anything. Boy. Creative Crafter says, I agree, Ray. Motions should not take months to answer. No, should not. I don't normally talk about my finances, but it's a struggle, which is JH's plan. Drive people to poverty, and if you're not already there, I'm still fighting through. They may not be able to answer, Ray. Marla, she's she doesn't have a pro bono lawyer to help her out. She's in this thing, and people, it's very hard for a poor person to get justice. And if you listen to Luthman out there or Volpe, they'll tell you, justice isn't equal. If you don't have the money, this court system will eat you alive, and it's doing it right now, and it's being proven today on a daily basis. In these cases, not just my case, but the other case, with John and Michelle, and so many people got involved because all they wanted to do was help. And you see what happened, and you see how vicious the people are that follow these channels. They'll do anything to keep the people from proving that they're right. And it's before their eyes. If this case is found in favor of Jeremy, we will never again have the freedom of speech that we've had to this date. Your social media is going to go bye-bye. And I'm not talking just YouTube. I'm talking about all social media. And it can happen because during the pandemic, social media virtually got shut down. If you use any wrong words, or if you backed the wrong party, you were shut down. Pep says, I have faith it'll turn out the way it should. I hope. Marla said, I used to have so much faith in our system. Well, I believed in it too. I mean, I really did. We were taught so much in school about our system, how great it was. But nobody ever said that money would make a difference, and it does. And influence. Influence has always been a part of our system. Let's see. John says, Ray, I may have missed this, but were you served? Not yet, John. I talked to a person that serves the summons, and they had thought it came through a week ago or close to a week ago, and but nothing back. I asked her to tell me, when it was going to be served at my house, but nothing. And I'm not running from it. I'm here, and so it isn't somebody that's came and gone. None of that bullshit. My neighbors watch out for it for me, and like I say, I'm not running from it. So, let's see. Oh, John, how did you guys come out today with the judge? See there, John said Bruce is still helping. See, Bruce is still out there doing his thing, and somehow I think either we're all going to have to get together and start some kind of a thing so that we can split these costs up, or else we're just going to have to shoot for the best and do it individually. If we do it individually, there's going to be some of them fail because it's going representing yourself is not a good idea in this case, because what'll happen is they'll concentrate on you, and if they can win one out of the 11, if they can drain you to pay for everything else that happened, they'll do that. And so either everybody is going to come out of it, or he'll win his case through getting one or two people and picking them off. Like I say, he threw spaghetti against the wall. He's hoping to get one or all. And if he can get one, he wins it all. So I want you to think about that for a while. Mara says Bruce is an angel. He's more than an angel. This guy, I can't come up with all the things that he went through, and his family too. Jeez. Says Tamara is cool, very personable. Yeah, she is stuck by him. Can you imagine what it must be like for the family when people attack you? On my own end, I'm going to tell you, I mean, I've got a couple in my family that are backing me, but for the most part, I'm on my own, people. It's one of those things that everybody kind of goes their own way sometimes. So it's not cool. Pro C, people don't have anything to pay. Well, if you don't have anything to pay, you'll never have anything in your pocket again, because a judgment would go against you, and it'll haunt you till the day you die. It's not a free ride. You'll never have anything. You either are going to be, I mean, it's nice to say, what are you going to get? What are you going to get, right? They're going to get everything that you'll ever have. You're going to be in a poorhouse. It's not going to be a good life the rest of your life if you lose everything. You cannot exist without money. Sorry to say. Remember what J.H. said? He don't care whether he wins. He wants to bankrupt you. Remember that? Anybody out there? I mean, he's going to add this to mine, even saying that. But he said it more than once. By matter of fact, Lisa has got that quote, and she's put it up several times on there. He don't care if he wins. He doesn't. He doesn't file to win. He files to break you, bankrupt you. He went after his wife. Think about it. Over 9 years. 9 years. And you've seen the result of what happened when you've seen his son on YouTube. This is no joke, folks. And if he can't get you, he's going after your family. He went after everybody in Michelle's family. Her daughter, I probably can get to her house in an hour or two from here. Yeah, think about that. You have people, innocent people that are being involved in this thing that can't get out. Only because they're related to one of us. And you have, actually, on the ones that follow closely, I mean, that's well over 1.5 million people following their channels. And they're vicious. The people that are following them, they're vicious. I know that Michelle does not write those signs, but even if she did, what does not warrant what happened to her via Jeremy? Yep. I agree with you. You know, I mean, it's pretty hard to explain. I get frustrated because I don't have the words for it. I just don't. I wish I did. Truth can't be definition. He said it more than once. Truth is whatever money will buy you in the court of law. A judgment for germ shouldn't withstand an appeal. Okay. If there's any money left over for an appeal, you probably have less chance of winning the appeal than you do the original case. You need to put it all in to win in the first place because the second chance probably isn't going to come. We know who wrote the signs. Yeah, we've got the expert that taught their expert. So, I mean, I would hope that the expert that was hired is the right one, but it's still considered scientifically junk science. In today's world, because of the tools that are at hand, any signature can be copied. They just can. So, you know, the day has come where stuff like this will be thrown out just because it's going to be one word against the other, period. That's all. We saw Ray was live going outside but wanted to stop in and say hello. This crap is pathetic. Poor excuse for a Christian. I am Christian and we do not act that way. God will take care of. All about the alternative. It should never have gone this far. I believe that is true. That would be an awesome win, John. Show promising news. Doggone, you know, I asked John a question and then I didn't go back and look. There it is. All I can say is the stay has been lifted in case number 1, so in 4 days I can file a motion for dismissal. Great, John. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't get it when you come through there. I was too busy ranting and got carried away in my own little world. Oh, let's see. Creative Crafter, have to leave, go pick up my granddaughter from gymnastics. See you all on Lisa's tonight. I'm praying so hard for a quick resolution. Thanks for stopping in, Linda. I appreciate you being here. You're a great subscriber out there. You know, they were talking the other day about cake decorating, and I thought about you because I was thinking you ought to put up a couple of videos on it because I know you can do it. And you would sure have a lot of people coming to your channel if every once in a while you cook cake up and showed them how to decorate it. In case all of you don't know, she is a crafter. So, how you doing, Linda Kay? Glad you came in. Let's see. Helen says, not truth, but so-called proof. Oh, I don't know when this thing is going to be over, and I know that they don't want it to get over, you know, because they're making too much money on it. I mean, think of this, millions. of dollars are being made off this case. A neighbor dispute is worth millions of dollars. Oh yeah, ta-ta, Linda. We're glad you stopped in. And thank you, John, for giving us that ta-ta, because it sure comes in handy. Get swamped. Hello, Ray. Well, how you doing, Robbie? I only talked about you once today, so I know your ears didn't burn this time. I talk about you once in a while to my wife in there. Yours probably burn when I'm talking to my wife about it. But I'll be able to see it, in Lisa's tonight, I hope. I am feeling a lot better today, people. Whatever was wrong with me seems to have left. I hope it don't come back. My wife is hurting now. Stacy says, John Cook, that ta-ta, that's epic. Frying up some pork chops, rice, gravy, green beans for dinner. That sounds pretty good, Road King. It's our mantra now. The ta-ta is, isn't it, Marla? Uh-oh. Road King, you're going to get some company here pretty quick. Marla said she's on her way over. Let's see. He continues to harass everyone mentioning it all the time on his channel. Even when he's in those lockers and he's opening something up, he's got to say some derogatory remark about somebody that's out here trying to fight the good fight, helping out a family that needs some help. He's so jealous of everything out there in this world. He don't want to see anybody help anybody, and he'd rather see him step on somebody that's in the gutter. You know what? He isn't happy unless somebody's down and out. Oh boy, Helen says, I cooked chicken, mashed potatoes, broccoli, gravy, and ate it while watching this live stream. Shame on you, Helen. Doggone it, you're making me hungry. And now I'm going to be hungry till I get off from here. Let's see. Canned green beans, watch out for those frogs. Stacy, they are fresh and pre-cooked them yesterday. Man, oh man. The green beans, it depends on where you grow them at, because they pick up a little bit of the taste of the soil. When you get the right combination of soil, man, everything in your garden tastes great. Oh, let's see here. I'm having leftovers, is what Linda Kay said. You know what? You know what I like about leftovers? It's like a casserole. You just mix it together and eat it. And you know what they say about leftover soup and casseroles? That it permeates the choice flavors all the way through everything in there, especially the potatoes. And man, is that good. And I like soup that is on the third serving, the third day, and always kept refrigerated, of course. But the longer it stays unless it's canned, the longer it stays, I love it. But 3 days is kind of about a limit of it. I'm glad that he won't be able to show footage on his channel in the federal court. In Canada, you can walk in, put a media ban on a case like this, and then he can't talk about it either. Stacy, Robbie, Lisa won a prize on my live, and one of the prizes was a magnetic frog, 3D print. But this one won't scare, and it won't be in a can of beans either. Oh, shoot. While the air conditioner is out waiting on parts from China, the doors open more often than frogs get in. That was part. I agree, Ray. Mine is a sandwich. That's Linda Kay. Get swamped, LOL. Doggone it, Robbie. I wish I could have a space on here and put you on live. My voice is getting hoarse. Let's see. Did you happen to go out on a live call today or anything? Because I've been busy all afternoon. I haven't even looked at your channel today, but Oh, I like. I've been eating frogs all my life, and I've went out and I've gigged them and caught them and lassoed them, and they're good. I like mine fried, and they're okay deep fried. But if they're just fried and battered, they're pretty good that way. That's the way I ate them most of the time. We always called the legs just saddles, and but yeah, frog legs actually to me they taste better, and I don't know why. One time, a true story I'm going to tell you now. We went to some friends of our house from our not from some friends that used to come over to our house. We went to their house, and my mom took a whole bunch of frog legs, and they had rubber bands around them. Now I don't know why. When they cooked them up with the rubber bands on them. I don't know if you've ever tried to eat a frog leg with a rubber band on, but they're bitter and they tasted bad. But we never had them that way again, and I bit into one, and that was it. I didn't eat any more out of that batch. But that was something that happened to me when I was really young. I think I was about maybe about 10 or 11 back then. Used to work for a catfish place, Cow Palace. Served burgers, shrimp, frog legs, and gator. So good. Carol's wanting to know if gator's good. It all depends on how you cook it. Frog legs jump when cooking. Well, mine were dead, and their tendons can move them a little bit, but if they do, it isn't very long. Pep says, "You be Ray." Listen, when I lived in Louisiana, I never asked them what the meat was. I just ate. It was all good. That way I didn't have to pretend, right? I watch one called Louisiana, and it's a young couple. They've got a son. I think he's around 16 or 15, something like that. They go out there in the swamp. Now they eat those nutrients. They're called a swamp rat. But I never did eat any while I was down there. They're kind of big, look like a rat, and they got orange teeth on them. And they're prolific down there. But he said they're good, and the whole family likes them. I'd try them if I was down there, but I'd have to try it when I was hungry. One thing I liked when I lived in Louisiana and Texas is I lived near the coast, both times. And man, fresh food, and you just get used to it. It's hard to eat stuff anywhere else. Capybara, Ray, yeah, that's what it is. They got orange teeth that look like a big rat. I think they called them nutrias, but I'm not sure. But they are capybaras. So what was I thinking? So I had to dissect a frog in school. I remember it looked like it twitched. I couldn't continue. That's because you got a hold of one of them tendons in there, and that's why it twitched. Gator's good too. Fried snapper turtles taste like chicken. Yeah, I've eaten plenty of turtles. So we always ate snappers. Yep. And we had a lot of turtles not too far from where I live. But my dad caught a soft shell and talked Mom into cooking it. The legs kept trying to crawl out of the pot, so Mom picked it right off the stove, tossed it in the backyard, and Dad never asked again. Yeah, if it started moving around in the pan, I guess I'd let it back out. It wants its freedom too bad to be cooked. Louisiana is full of nutria. Yep, it is. Everywhere you go, it was back there when I lived there. Now I don't know if I ever ate any of it while I was there, and it kind of surprised me when that channel. It's called That Louisiana. It's pretty much a delicacy for them. They like it, and it looked good. And they cook it, in dark brown gravy. And it looks like it's tender enough. But one thing about it's free. You go down there and they're just all over the place, and they don't really run from you so much. They're not really scared of you. You just have to make sure you can retrieve them, wherever you're shooting them. Road King squirrel is good. Yeah, I ate my share of squirrels and rabbits, pheasants, and a few raccoons, but didn't make a habit of the raccoons. They're a little greasy, and I've hunted plenty of them for the fur, but I really didn't care for the meat from the raccoon. Get swamped. I ate them in Hungary. I bet you get hungry in Hungary, huh? No, joking with you, Robbie. Let's see. Yeah, wild rabbit is different than domestic, and wild rabbit is really good. It's got a good taste to it. I love rabbit gravy. I like milk gravy made with rabbit. Let's put it that way. I had muskrat once. I've never had muskrat. It's not that I wouldn't, because there's nothing wrong with eating them. I wouldn't eat possum. I don't know. For some reason, possum's just damn nasty out there. I just never thought about eating them, but I know people have. I mean, when you're hungry, you got to eat anything. Pickled feet, yep. Pig's feet, yep. Yeah, they got pickled feet, and they got snout, ears. Let's see. It says, my grandfather used to raise nutria for the fur and meat. Yep. I've never eaten it, I don't think, and I may have down there and just didn't know it. Like I said, I usually didn't ask what was in the meal, because there's so many things down there that are cooked up. The seasoning would mask just about anything you eat anyway. Everything tasted good to me down there. I really loved it when I was down there. I gained probably about a good 20 pounds while I lived in Louisiana and Texas down there. But when I turned 40, I know I was over 260, maybe 270, and it hasn't been that long. I mean, I'm down, right, believe it or not, I weighed myself last night, and I think I'm down to 226, which is, it's been over 30 years since I was down that low. I'd like to get down to about 200. If I get down there, then I'll feel a lot better. Maybe I can walk better and things. Get Swamp said earthworms. Where are you talking about earthworms? I hope you weren't talking about eating them. I mean, I think they're edible. I just wouldn't want one. Beard said, hey, Ray, when I was living in the woods, man, I was catching and cooking almost every day, catching and cooking fish and everything. Yep. I could live in the woods. I mean, I've learned about everything you can about the outside. It's as far as even catching wild game. It's just, it would have to be a place where it was available. You know, in today's world, wildlife is getting scarce. You know, it was a lot different when I was growing up. A lot of people depended on wild game. So, I used to make rabbit stew. I like rabbit. My best way is fried. I love it fried. Earthlbait on ingredients. Huh. What was I thinking? Congratulations, Ray. RK, I'll trade you one tree for One tree rat for a trash panda. Yeah, let's see. Hot dogs are made from earthworms, Ray. You know something? You'd never know what a hot dog's really made out of. By the time they season it, you can make it out of anything. I mean, I watched them uh, make hot dogs before, at the meat lockers. So uh, I've watched the whole process. Back when everything was pork at that point, though. Oh, never eat a hot dog again. Sharon said, dang, squirrels jumping on my window screens. They'll jump on anything. Okay. Well, it's 5:15 Central Standard Time out there. And we had a pretty good time today. And there's only a few out there that had to have a lesson taught to them by removing their comments today. And I wanted to thank all of you out there for listening and coming in. And some of my ranting and stuff, it's just what it is. At least we can have a few minutes each time and just do nothing but relax and do whatever comes natural, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, Bearded says, thank you. I'll take it all in, all the ideas, but I'm hoping to get a car soon. I hope you do too, Bearded Fisherman. Looks like you get around pretty good with that bike, but at least with a car, you can change from one place to another at a longer distance. It's a little hard sometimes with the bikes, and the weather can hold you up. Okay, Robbie, I see you on there. God bless everyone. I'll see you tonight, Robbie, on there on Two Lisa's. I don't know how late I'll stay up tonight. I've been having a hard time staying up too late because I get tired. Time to get back to work. You know something, Robbie? I didn't even know if you had a minute to spare. The stuff you have to do out there, and I know it's a 7-day pull, so good luck today. May the good Lord be with you, Robbie. Carol says, thank you for going live. Missed these, and I'm glad you're feeling better. I would have these more. I just wanted to make sure that, the big ruckus or something like that don't get started. But I wanted you to understand about this court case. Also wanted I was hoping everybody would understand with Bruce and the problems that he's going to have and will have and has had. And even though he's not in the limelight, as to the point where he should be, he needs to know that he's appreciated. And anything we can do for him, this is a guy that gave everything, and it still is. So thank the Lord for him. He really has been a blessing for John and Michelle, and he's given all of us so much information. And because of what he did, he is now involved in this lawsuit, this next one coming around. I'm hoping that this lawsuit doesn't bear fruit for Jeremy in any way. It already has made him a lot of money on his YouTube thing, and I got an idea that's the biggest reason it's there. The less we can give him to talk about, I guess, maybe the quicker everything will be over, because if it wasn't for content, he wouldn't be doing it. I'm pretty sure about that. For all of you out there, I'm so glad you came here, and may the Lord bless all of you. All of you deserve it. And behaving yourself. I can guarantee you there's very few channels out there that behave themselves like you guys do. And I'm so happy for you to do that. It really is truly a blessing that so many people, good people, are coming to a channel and just sitting back and having a good time and listening and giving ideas out. And I finally learned the trick of making the chats big enough so I can read it. I've always had to lean into this thing, and it drives me nuts to do that. Everybody got to see my hats today, and my daughter got to see me say hi. And a shout out to Bruce, my man. I hope you're doing fine. I want you to be able to get back to how it was, and not let this hang over your head. This Road King, everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. Yep, I hope you do too. Road King, I really like your channel. And I don't know if you realize it, but part of the lawsuit, they use me as a reason some of these people are involved. They said that I got on there and promoted these channel by calling them out, the shout outs and stuff that I did. And now the ones that I did that are on the lawsuit. So I guess Jeremy's trying to make me famous on what he's suing me about. But if I am, I sure apologize to the ones out there. The reason I give somebody a shout out, it's not because we're on each other's team or has nothing to do with it. It's because I appreciate their channel, and I used to try to shout out to Super Dave and Lisa, Two Lees in a Pod, and Tori's station out there, and Robbie and his channel. There's so many good people out there, and of course Richard Lutherman and Mike Volpe. They've been out there doing everything they can to find out real truths and put them out there for all of us to see it. These are all, in my estimation, they're good channels. But for a lawsuit to name me in there for calling them out, I didn't call them out because they're any team of any type. Each one of these people that have channels are separate from each other, and they have a different way of delivering what they're talking about. And the ones that are true reporters have reported both sides, but one side has told them where to go and doesn't leave them a whole lot to report on. But what they do bring facts with them. They don't just spill something out there and say, oops. When they put something out there, it's with intent. It's proof of what the real world is and what's going on. A lot of them use humor. It's all different types of humor. Some of it might be a little rough for you to hear. Other times it's too clean to understand. But in any case, they're pouring out their heart out to you for you through the channels and trying to do good for a couple out there with a small child. That's what they're trying to do. In the last week, John and Michelle have had to travel, I think it was to Gainesville, to go before the court to hand in paperwork with us. And, they've had a sick child all week, and Michelle's been sick. There is no heart when it comes to federal courts and judges, and they could care less. And they're not going to let you get away with a phone call in to explain your case. And in her case, they wouldn't even let her go on a video. So, when you think about it, all the stuff that they're going through, if we had to go through it, how could we bear up under it, or would we? 2 years of torture they went through, which is worse than most prison camps. It's a bad deal, bad deal. So for all of you out there, I want to use John's little special ta-ta, and I'm going to end it today. And I really hope the best for everybody out there. And thank you so much for listening. There's a thumbs up somewhere around there, and the ones that have been in the chat, I know you subscribe because there's a 20-minute thing on there that says you have to be here 20 minutes at least to come on the channel. And for those of you that didn't join but watched, I hope you had a good time listening to it. And that's it for today. It's ta-ta. I'll see you later.